it just feels like the Ravens lose a lot of games like that. They blow a lot of leads late, and it costs them playoff positioning dearly, which they just need to get better at.
You're tuned in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, guiding your gridiron journey, none other than your host, former NFL lineman, Ross Tucker.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Monster Monday. And boy, oh boy, it's our first one of the NFL regular season where we have a lot to get to. For those of you that are new, maybe you're checking us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. Here's what we do on Mondays, okay? I don't recap every game because most of you already saw the highlights or whatever. I tell you the things I think matter from every game, the things I took away and that really matter moving forward from every game. After I give you my overarching themes for the Sunday that was in the NFL, but I'll get to every game, kind of my quick hit takeaways moving forward, as well as my big overarching thoughts. College draft today, Emory was excellent betting college football games in week 2. So we'll review that, go on to week 3. Tomorrow we'll have the power rankings. Wednesday I'll make my picks again. And tomorrow we'll have the first Even Money podcast episode this week, which, by the way, we did very well on Even Money thus far as well. So it's been a very good week. For those of you who like to make the games a little bit more interesting, I like to tell you guys on Monday's show what mattered and what didn't. It's Big Show time.
The Big Show.
All right, Ross, the first Sunday of the NFL season's in the books. Before we dive into each game individually, what were your overall takeaways from the week?
You know what's funny, Jack? I might actually, I don't know, after last week I'm not so sure, but I might actually start to ask your opinion on some of these and get your thoughts on what you took away from the games. You know, I'll say a few things. There's just nothing like NFL Week 1. I mean, I called the Cardinals and the Saints, came down to the last play, and the Superdome was electric. I love those people. I love New Orleans. But just the environment, the anticipation, the excitement of Week 1 is really, truly special. And I thought we had an incredible Week 1. I mean, you think about the Red Zone channel at the end of the 1 o'clock games. There was a lot of games that came down to the end. Steelers, Jets, you got walk-off field goals. Like I said, the Saints were at like the 15-yard line. Spencer Rattler threw the ball into the end zone twice. There were a lot of games that really came down to the very end. So that was pretty awesome, including what might already be the game of the year in the NFL. I mean, I'll get to Bills-Ravens towards the end, and I got a lot to say about that, but it's going to be hard to top that. 41-40, Bills down 15 and come back to win. Just everything about it was absolutely incredible. It's going to be tough for there to be a better game all year than what we saw from Bills-Ravens. So, the NFL does not have script writers. I think it's hilarious when people say that, but if they did have script writers, man, those guys did a heck of a job last night with that real Bills-Ravens game. I mean, that was a really nice script. A couple other things. So many penalties. So many costly penalties across the league that really hurt teams. If you think about the different situations, both the Saints and Cardinals had a bunch in my game, but, like Will Campbell, those pre-snap penalties especially, that's a big thing early in the season, especially week 1, and really hurt some of the teams around the NFL. Kickers. Blake Groupie for the Saints missed an easy one. Think about the Browns. They would have won the game if their rookie kicker, Sismit or whatever, didn't miss an extra point and a field goal. The Niners, oh my gosh. Teams should never, ever draft a kicker in the third round like Moody ever again. I don't know why they keep making that mistake. Yeah, but kicking I feel like that was a theme a lot last year. Just shows you how important that position is. And then coaching, but in particular, coaching for quarterbacks. Look at how well Daniel Jones played. Look at how much better Justin Fields was. Look at Trevor Lawrence. Coaching matters quite a bit, especially at that position.
Well, going back to one of your themes in kicking, the Falcons, they missed a kick in the closing seconds. They lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 23-20.
Right, and what's crazy is it came out right before the game that the Bucs kind of had to totally revamp their offensive line. Graham Barton, their starting center, was out at left tackle because Tristan Wirfs is out for a while. Remember, there's no Chris Godwin. There's no Jalen McMillan. Because of that, can you even imagine how happy the Bucs are now that they drafted Emeka Egbuka? There were people that thought that was a poor decision. They need help on defense. That was overdoing it at a position because they signed Godwin in free agency. You have Mike Evans. You have Jalen McMillan. They don't win that game without Egbuka. Credit to Jason Light for drafting him because he had 4 catches. 2 of them were touchdowns of over 25 yards. So they needed that. It felt like, speaking of receivers, by the way, Bijan had over 100 yards receiving. Bijan Robinson, or Bijan, I guess now. Bijan Robinson for the Falcons had over 100 yards receiving. I will say I felt like the Falcons defense was a lot better than last year and got more pressure until the end of the game, until it really mattered, right? But James Pierce, as a rookie, and some of the other guys did some really positive things. The problem is, they weren't able to get it done at the end. I'd also say this. You never really know that much from week 1. How much of that was the Bucs' revamped offensive line and how much of it was improved pressure from the Falcons? Only time will tell on that.
One more with missed field goals. Cleveland, they missed one in a 1-point loss to the Bengals, 17-16.
Unbelievable. I mean, the Browns totally outplayed the Bengals. The Browns' defense was awesome. You see some of the shots Joe Burrow was taking? The Bengals had 141 total net yards. Are you kidding me? 141 total net yards? Now, the Bengals' defense was better in the second half and certainly better than last year, but they got bailed out. They got bailed out by 4 Browns drops, including 2 that were on the money by Flacco that led right to interceptions for the Bengals. And I already mentioned the missed kicks by Simsett. Just a very Brownish way to lose the game, right? That was a very Browns-ish way for them to not be able to pull that off.
Arguably the quarterback from the 1 o'clock window, the best one, Daniel Jones. The Colts, they dominate on both sides of the ball in a 33-8 blowout win over the Dolphins.
What were you doing yesterday, Jack?
Watching Red Zone.
Okay. Feels like might have been a good time to post any one of my 3 to 5 takes this offseason about how Daniel Jones is going to be good. I believe in my AFC preview, I had the Colts making the playoffs. I think I had him for comeback player of the year. At one point, I know I got a lot of traction, whatever I said about Daniel Jones among Colts fans. That would have been a good repost. Am I right or am I right?
Yeah, but, sometimes reposts don't do well in the timeline from so long ago. Unless you just want to prove that you're right to people.
Yeah, the second thing.
Well, my job is to impressions, not to make you look good.
I know. I'm just messing with you. Hey, by the way, before I forget, text me one of those. I might do the emoji where you're like, Anyway, the Colts. This was one of the few just total blowouts, right? It was I know it was 20-0. I mean, this is the funny part, right? I actually have Colts Titans in a few weeks for CBS, which I'm looking forward to. But like, you really don't know after week one how much of this is good Colts, how much of this is bad Dolphins. And the truth is, the Colts probably and Daniel Jones aren't as good as they looked yesterday. And the Dolphins probably aren't as bad as they looked yesterday. But the Colts, you might have the stat, Jack. They're the first team in forever to score on every possession in a game. It's been 20 years or something. Now I don't know how they only had 7 possessions, but they scored on all 7 possessions. Daniel Jones looked fantastic, other than still taking shots that he shouldn't take and needs to protect himself. Daniel, you get injured a lot, bro. You cannot be taking some of these shots. But he looked great, especially throwing it to Tyler Warren, the rookie tight end out of Penn State, which, by the way, how awesome is that? I mean, the first drive, 3 catches for Tyler Warren for 45 yards. And then Michael Pittman played well as well. I don't know what the deal is with the Dolphins offensively. I mean, we kind of knew coming into the year that their corners would struggle, but for them to be that bad offensively, 8 points, Tua turned it over 3 times. Shout out to new Colts defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo. He had defensive backs coming from everywhere. I mean, they were coming from everywhere. The Dolphins looked like they had no idea whether it was Kenny Moore or Xavier Howard. Tua's getting rocked. That is what you call a big-time game plan by Lou Anarumo, the DC for the Colts. More great stuff right after this. Such an epic weekend of opening games. Listen, I want you guys to take your families to a game. Why not? You can get very affordable prices on the Game Time app. And what I love about the Game Time app, the fees are included. So you know your total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. You just download the Game Time app, like I've done, by the way. Create an account, use code ROSS. Yes, I've used my own code. You get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. So again, make sure you create that account and redeem code ROSS for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket. Go. Download the Game Time app today. I'm just telling you right now, I'm giving you the answers to the test. The sponsor confirmation email winner this week, someone that uses the code ROSS on the Game Time app. Just send it to me. I'm so ready for week 2 already. Make sure you're ready. Grab a bottle of Smirnoff at your local retailer and head to Smirnoff.com to find recipes of delicious cocktails perfect for game day. Please drink responsibly, of course. Smirnoff number 21 like Deion Sanders vodka, distilled from grain, 40% like Mike Allstott alcohol by volume. It's the Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please not share with anyone under legal drinking age. That's a bad idea. A good idea is to have delicious cocktails with the perfect vodka, the world's #1 vodka, an award-winning vodka, an official vodka partner of the NFL. Get it right for game day. That's what Smirnoff does. They do game days.
Jaguars, they dominated the Panthers in a delayed game that was kind of lasted all day Sunday, 26-10.
Can we all agree that lightning delays stink? I mean, they already cost me, between the lightning delay, hour and a half or whatever, Thursday night for Eagles-Cowboys, that cost me a bunch of sleep. And then it wasn't lightning, but the 2-hour delay flying back from New Orleans, probably could have done without that. Listen, what matters, I would say Trevor Lawrence wasn't great, but definitely better than he had been in recent years, right? So not great, but definitely better than what we had seen in recent years. The Jags ran the ball very effectively. ETN had 143 yards, including a 71-yarder. As the Jaguars totally dominated this game. Bryce Young looked a lot like Tua in this game, in the sense that he turned it over 3 times. The offensive line struggled. He missed a number of throws. The only real positive for the Panthers offensively was Teteroa McMillan. Travis Hunter, by the way, played 39 snaps on offense, 6 on defense.
Next game up is the Pete Carroll era, and Vegas begins with a 2013 victory over the Patriots.
It's just incredible how much having a legit quarterback like Geno Smith does for you. Geno was awesome. Played well yet again. Finding my brother from another mother, Trey Tucker, Jacoby Myers, of course, Brock Bowers until he gets hurt his knee. Hopefully that's not too bad. I mentioned earlier, Patriots rookie left tackle, Will Campbell. That's a rough fourth quarter. The false start, allowing the sack. The good news for the Raiders is it wasn't just Crosby on defense. Kuntz is a good player, but Tyree Wilson was stepping up and making some plays.
Arizona held on the closing seconds to beat the Saints, 2013.
Ended up being an awesome, awesome game. You can check out my food review on social media, at Ross Tucker NFL. I think I posted it to both Twitter and my Instagram story if you want to see what the food looked like. Kyler Murray missed a couple of throws he should have made, but overall I thought he was very effective with both his arm and his legs. Even though he was under a decent amount of pressure, they clearly have their guys, right? They really focus on getting the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride. Both of those guys came through and made plays when they needed to. For the Saints, Cam Jordan had a couple of sacks. He needed to play more because of no Chase Young, and he did awesome. I would say this too. I thought Spencer Rattler, overall, I thought that was a positive evaluation for him. He didn't turn it over, used his legs effectively. He probably took a bunch of checkdowns, but against Arizona's defense, you have to be patient like that. I thought Spencer Rattler acquitted himself pretty well.
The best game for the 1 o'clock window was the Steelers-Jets game that ended with a 60-yard field goal in the final minute for the Steelers to win 34-32.
Think about that too, right? You got the serial killer Boz, according to Mike Tomlin, and he's out here, making 60-yarders. Meanwhile, some of these other guys are missing chippies that make a huge difference for their team in the game. Kicking is hugely important. The Steelers really didn't run. This was like an anti-Steelers game. They didn't run it well. The defense didn't play that well, and they still won the game. This is the type of game that the Steelers have not won in recent years. But Rodgers drove the ball down the field. Rodgers had 4 touchdown passes as the Steelers came from behind. The Jets, it's such a shame that they lost this game. Fields played well with both his arm and legs. I thought the Jets' offensive line, even without Vera Tucker, got the job done against that good Steelers front. What a debut for the new Jets OC, Tanner Engstrand, as Breece Hall had a big day on the ground as well. Highly, highly encouraging for the Jets offensively.
Commanders, they beat the Giants 21-6. What are you thinking about that game there?
It took the Commanders a while to finish off the Giants because of penalties. We talked about penalties before being one of the themes, and the Giants do have a frisky D, but the Giants' offensive line and quarterback and offense struggled as usual. They only crossed midfield 3 times. This is not like a great Commanders defense, so more of the same offensively for the Giants. Commanders' D-line had a nice day, though, including the new guy, Dietrich Wise, to go along with Armstrong and Daron Payne.
The Broncos, they got it done despite 2 interceptions from Bo Nix in a 2012 win against the Titans.
And you know what? He put the ball in harm's way even more than that. That's supposed to be the thing that Sean Payton likes the most about him, which is that he takes care of the football. But that was not the case. He put the ball in harm's way more than he should have. or did last year, the Titans defense, I don't know you can ask for much more from those guys. They got some players. Jeffrey Simmons, Tavondre Sweat. They forced 3 takeaways. They only give up 20 points. The Titans offensively just couldn't do it, right? I thought Cam Ward did some impressive things, but he needs some more help. I mean, especially against that Denver defense, when he gets sacked 6 times by 6 different guys, by the way, whether it's the O-line or the receivers, when you got a rookie quarterback like that, I feel like the other guys on offense, especially for the Titans, need to step up and perform better than they did.
A late fumble from the Seahawks to a San Francisco 49ers win 17-13.
Nick Bosa closing out games. That's why guys like that get paid that much. But what about the Niners' injuries? Already, again, and this will be something really interesting to hear from Dr. Chow on Thursday's Even Money podcast. Remember, we now have 2 Even Money podcasts every week. But George Kittle injured his hamstring pretty early in the game. We'll see how long he's out. That, by the way, led to the game-winning touchdown catch by their 3rd-string tight end. Is it Jake Tonges? Tonges? Do you know, Jack?
I don't know the exact pronunciation.
I've never even heard of this guy. I love that. I love that a dude I've never heard of had the game-winning catch in the opening game for the Niners. That's awesome. Juwan Jennings also got hurt. The receiver, he hurt his shoulder. And Ayuk's already out. So Ricky Pearsall had to carry the load for the Niners offensively. Well, Ricky Pearsall and McCaffrey. McCaffrey had 142 yards on a bunch of touches. It was nice to see him out there and healthy and playing. Niners had a bunch of kicking issues, special teams issues. That really helped Sam Darnold and the Seahawks offense stay in the game because they were not great. I mean, the Niners defense kind of suffocated them all day. And as I could see on social media, Seahawks fans not very happy that the team decided it was really important to save $5 million a year at quarterback. They're feeling like it's a downgrade from Geno Smith to Sam Darnold. And guess what? They're probably right.
Don't go anywhere. Got to pay some bills real quick.
I hope you guys like free money as much as I do, because that's what I'm giving you from my friends at westshorehome.com/Ross. Listen, they are the experts when it comes to bathroom remodeling, new windows, new doors, even flooring projects now. Everyone they use, highly trained employee installers. And right now, you can do what I've done before. Buy a full bath remodel, get a shower replaced and another bathroom free. Or you can buy a house full of windows, get a new entry door free. 12 months, no payments, no interest. Get an exclusive discount of $500 by going to westshorehome.com/Ross. That's $500, westshorehome.com/Ross. See my website for details.
Bills Ravens on Sunday night. Obviously, going into the week was the game of the weekend in the NFL. And when I think Buffalo, I think Labatt. I think buy beer, get gear. I think rewards.labattusa.com to sign up. I actually think this whole program, buy beer, get gear, is genius. Most people are already taking and drinking Labatt. Just make sure you take a photo of your receipt. Then you get incredible merch. It's buy beer, get gear, rewards.labattusa.com.
The Lions, their offense struggled in their first game post Ben Johnson, 27-13, a Packers win.
Well, it's funny, too, because Steve Fezzik talked about the correlation between how the Lions would look and how the Bears look tonight in Monday Night Football. So that's something to keep an eye on. Was Ben Johnson just that good? And do the Bears look awesome tonight? That would really tell a story if after the Lions couldn't even move the ball if they end up being really good tonight, the Bears do. Jordan Love was fantastic. I mean, the guys that took a step forward in like MVP conversation, Jordan Love, Josh Allen, even Lamar Jackson, I guess, in a loss. The Packers, led by Micah Parsons, totally shut down the Lions offense. I mean, totally shut them down. They had 6 points until garbage time. It felt like, Jared Goff and the Lions were just dinking and dunking the whole game. And that's not what they did under Ben Johnson. It's not how they score points until that incredible catch by that Tesla dude who's just insane. Other than that, this game was almost a little disappointing because you were hoping, this is one of the few games where you were disappointed and hoping for a closer game.
The Rams, they won a low-scoring battle against the Houston Texans that ended 14-9.
Matthew Stafford took several shots in this game from that Texans front that is legit, but he looked healthy, played well, came out of the game okay. The Texans already have all kinds of O-line issues. Ed Ingram is hurt. Then during the game, Cam Robinson came out. Jake Andrews got carted off. I mean, it's a good thing they have so many guys that have experience and have been playing before because they needed them. But still, it just never felt like C.J. Stroud got comfortable again. They couldn't run the football very effectively again. And C.J. Stroud, was taking sacks again. Although he did make some nice throws, I would say, under pressure. But still, the Texans clearly need better.
And the game of the day, the Bills, they pulled off an incredible comeback to cap Sunday with a 41-40 win against the Baltimore Ravens.
And, I'm going to make this game, the Bills in general, and Josh Allen in particular, my hungriest performance of the week, presented by 11 Oaks Farms. How about genuine Wagyu beef, Angus beef, all kinds of delicious pork, chicken, made right here in central Pennsylvania, near me. You can go to the store in Newville, PA, but the best thing to do, 11oaksfarms.com/Ross. 11oaksfarms.com/Ross. What a game. I mean, it was incredible because obviously Derrick Henry was utterly dominant in the game. Clearly, we all saw how well Lamar Jackson played and some of the plays he made. It's 40-25 with 5 minutes left. And then after that, everything that could go wrong for the Ravens went wrong. And every play the Bills could make, they made. Josh Allen, simply incredible at the end of that game. I mean, it was like a movie. And that is a huge win for the Bills because we mentioned how important it is for them to try to get the number 1 seed. And it just feels like I got the Ravens this week on Sunday for CBS, Browns at Ravens. It just feels like the Ravens lose a lot of games like that. They blow a lot of leads late, and it costs them playoff positioning dearly, which they just need to get better at. Otherwise, though, just a tremendous, fantastic game. I think we're done here.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also check out Even Money, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.
Shout out myfrontpagestory.com. By far the best gift for any loved one or anybody, period, for any reason. Backofficescheduler.com, humanheadnyc.com, Sporticulture, Pizza Boy Brewing.